Bonjour, today on Cooking Fabulously, it's episode number 2 on our croque series. No, I haven't croqued it. Croque is French for bite. And so we're exploring those bitey sandwiches, the croques. The croque monsieur, and today it's the croque madame. This is Cooking Fabulously, the channel that puts more fun and fabulousness into French food. My name's Andrew Pryor, and if you haven't guessed already, well, my food's a little bit like me. It might not look pretty, but it sure does taste good. Let's get cooking, shall we? Oh, but before we do that, if you're new to Cooking Fabulously, press the like button. Share me around with your friends. I love to be shared around. Sorry, I love it when people share the video around. Also, press the subscribe button and hit the bell notification right next to that. And then that way you'll get an email every time I release a new video. And really, who wouldn't want that? So, let's get cooking our croque madame. First things first, we need to get our oven hot. So set that to 200 degrees Celsius. And of course the ingredients you'll need for this recipe are the difference between a croque monsieur and the croque madame. Well, it has a little bit less ingredients in a croque madame, but in my opinion, it's a little bit richer because you're adding an egg on top. But we're getting rid of the bechamel sauce that's in the croque monsieur, as well as the mustard and the mayonnaise. So maybe it balances itself out. But really, it's just focusing on the flavours of the cheese, the ham, and the egg, which makes it delicious. The first thing you want to do is take your bread, and I've got 4 bread slices. This is for a sandwich for 2 people. And I'm just going to place on top some ham. Now, I've got 2 slices of ham here. Now with the bread, I'm using what they call here in France a pain de mie. A pain de mie, which is basically just like a sandwich bread. So just make sure that you're using a good quality sandwich bread here. Or if you can't get a hold of something like that, use a sourdough. Now we're just going to give it a good sprinkling of pepper on top and just a little bit of salt. And then here I've got 1 cup of grated Gruyere cheese. Any kind of melting cheese is good to use here. So I'm going to put about 1/3 on each sandwich. Just squishing it down, making sure I get it all on the actual ham here. So you're just creating a really good, indulgent ham and cheese sandwich here. And just leave that other 1/3 there for later. Now, just place the other part of your bread on top and give it a good squash down. Now we just need to heat a non-stick pan on a medium to high heat. I've got 75 grams here of unsalted butter that I've cut into 3 slices of about 25 grams on each one. So we'll add that to our pan, move that around just slightly, just to get a good sizzle going. And once that's completely melted, then we're going to add our sandwiches. And don't worry if there's any cheese or ham hanging over the sides. That's just going to melt and be even better. Now we want to cook those sandwiches in the butter on that side about 3 to 4 minutes. Until it's nice and brown. And you can just squish them down, as I'm doing here with the spatula, just to make sure everything's touching the pan. Once that's gotten brown on that side, then carefully just plop that over. Again on that side, pop that down. Add another knob of butter, and then again, just squish this down. Just going to give it a bit of a swirl, just so that the bread does get that butter. And it's at this stage I'm going to then turn my oven, which has now come up to heat. I'm going to turn that to the grill setting on about 180. I've got the rack on the highest part that it can be. So the oven was at 200, now it's going to the grill for 180. That should keep the oven itself lovely and warm to help toast up these sandwiches. So I've got a tray here, just a small little oven tray, and should fit. How about I've got 2 small little oven trays. So now that these are done, turn this off the heat. Yep, they're lovely and brown on each side. On the tray, just put that aside for a sec, and then 1/3 cup of leftover cheese that I've got, I'm going to sprinkle that on top of each sandwich. And now I'm just going to place these in the oven until The cheese is melted on top and then I'll turn the oven off. In the meantime, we're going to be cooking our eggs. Just keep an eye on them. You just want to grill them on top. In the meantime, I've got my fry pan back on a medium heat. I'm going to add my last knob of butter. Give that a good swirl around just to melt that butter. And once it's melted, I'm going to crack open 2 eggs. Give them a good crack of salt and pepper. Done, so we're going to check our sandwiches, get them out of the oven. Perfect, yum. Just want to take our sandwich up here and plate that. This is the kind of sandwich you want to eat with a knife and fork, like the French do best. So no need to cut it. Take one of our eggs, and pop that on top. And voila, there we go, a delicious Croque Madame, episode 2 in our 5-part Croque series. It's delicious. Let's get in, shall we? Bon appetit.